You should be seeing Carmen's lovely painted piece on the left side, as well as the photo reference that she was working from on the right. And she wanted feedback on kind of refining and finishing this work. And I want to note a few things here. One, I love that she worked from a photo reference but made it her own. She consciously wanted the posture and pose of this figure, but she wanted to add a hat, and she also wanted to make the figure younger than she is in the photo reference. So keep that in mind for yourselves. When you work with a photo reference, realize that you don't have to copy it exactly, and you can use it to help inform the art you make. This is such a powerful thing. The power of photo reference can be so helpful for us to make stronger artwork, and I think that's already evident in Carmen's painting. Her posture and pose with the head and hand works really well and feels quite accurate because she's been able to look at something to help her be accurate in her presentation. This is something I encourage in artists, and I want you all to understand that's part of how your voice starts to show through too. I have a free 10-day challenge where I encourage people to use an image reference that I offer and then go through it over 10 days to make it their own work. And that's through the Soul Brush sessions. I can share that link with you after this video is done. I'll put it in the chat roll or next to the video header so that you can sign up if you haven't heard of it before. But I really want you all to understand that photo references are a powerful, useful tool, and I don't think we should always be copying them exactly. It's a great way to build skill. So if you're trying to build your skill, copying an image is a great way to help you achieve that, because then you can see definitively what you're doing right or wrong. But I want you to feel confident to deviate from that image reference to make it your own. So let's look here. In terms of the pose, like I said, I think that that hand and head look really good together. I am going to get my pen ready so that I can draw for you guys. So let me make sure I have a color that's going to help us see. Yeah, I think that'll work. Okay. So the first thing I would note is I do think there's something with the position of the eyes that might be slightly off. These angles should match exactly. And while the angles do, you'll notice that the space kind of here, you can see a lot more of the top of that eye than I think maybe we should be seeing. And some of that is because I'm going to get rid of these marks now so that they don't block what we're actually looking at. That eye, right, you've got kind of the lid showing and the eye and eyelashes and some of the eyebrow. And here what's happened is this part of the eye here has become part of the eyebrow area as well. So keep that in mind for yourself, Carmen. I think that's just that's kind of the only adjustment I see with that. And if you want the nose to match, you've shortened the nose quite a bit. If you'll notice here, this woman's nose almost touches the top lip for her, and you've got quite a bit of space in here. So those could be two changes that I think could help finish out the face and get that sorted. But I think that your skin tones are quite nice. And in terms of teeth, some advice that I've had and read from people in terms of drawing is a woman named Carrie Stewart Lewis or Carrie Lewis Stewart. I can't remember which way the name goes. She has a great book on drawing, and she said for teeth, she doesn't always draw them individually. She kind of shades them as a unit. And I really encourage you guys to do that in your painting as well. So I feel like that's started, but it almost feels like the teeth go above the top lip here. So I might make sure that that top lip really feels like it's on top of or over the teeth, but I think keeping them kind of soft like that works. This angle looks pretty accurate here. I kind of feel like it's a little tall though. There's something, I don't know. I think that bump just feels really strong to me. I might soften that edge a little bit too, but that's like a very nitpicky detail, and you should, again, understand that when I'm offering feedback like this, it's information to help an artist make decisions for themselves. I'm not telling them that this is right or wrong, per se. When it's about accuracy, I can point out things that might be perceived as right, that are right or wrong, right? Placement of the eye, for example. But some of these, like I'm talking about the shoulder area nuance, that's more of an aesthetic choice or decision that I am resonating with. And it's really up to Carmen to decide what's right for her. And I want you all to understand that with any feedback you receive, that's how you should be taking it, as information. Remove that emotion. It's so much easier said than done. But if you can remove that emotion, it will help. I am concerned that this corner is a little confusing about whether that's her arm kind of down here, leaning forward, or if it's this part of her bicep coming down. I kind of wonder if I would just make that all shirt and get rid of any skin in that bottom corner. I'm not sure what that would look like though, but that's something else I'm kind of curious about. What else would I suggest? I think the shading is quite wise with the hat. I like the loose brush strokes and marks as well. I think it would be nice to see some of the green of the shirt painted in, hinted in areas throughout other parts of the painting. That's something that a lot of artists don't realize, but if you really want to create a sense of harmony in your painting, making sure that all the colors you use kind of touch or hint in other parts of the piece can really help. So having the purple shadows in the shirt is a great way to tie in the hat in the background. But I think I would also touch in the green somewhere in the hat more, or in the background, and even possibly in her skin in certain shadow areas, and that would help really tie it together, because right now that green really pops forward and stands out. If any of you guys have ideas for refining this work, you are most welcome to also share them in the comments below, but please keep them in the spirit in which I've been doing it as well today. Remember, it's not about your opinion necessarily, it's about information that can help Carmen improve this work. I guess one last detail I might consider is I almost want this hat to go off the frame a little bit more. And I'm not quite sure. It kind of almost feels like it's placed a little bit off of her head. It feels like it's placed a little bit backwards. It might be interesting to see if she could find a photo reference of a hat on someone's head and help her place this big hat that way to make sure it really feels like it's on top of the woman's head. Because in this one, it does feel like it's kind of falling back or off of her head for me, because this is a lot of space for the rest of her head. Eyes are in the middle of your head, so really the top of her head finishes around there. So that's something also for her to think about. I think that covers all that I wanted to share about Carmen's piece. I do think if she finishes up that other eye and the mouth, that it'll be quite nice. Again, it's a decision. Does she want to keep all those marks loose, or does she want to refine some of them? I think that's up to her. I really like the left half of the face and how it looks, and I think it has a sense of resolution. And I do think that if she kind of finishes out the nose, that top of the mouth, and fixes that eye, that it would have that feeling of finished. If the brush strokes are a distraction or something that Carmen doesn't like, then she could kind of smooth things out a bit more and create softer transitions between the color changes and value changes, and that would help finish that out too. So thank you, Carmen, for sharing your work with us.